America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I've got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at noon Eastern. That's 9 a.m. Pacific for about an hour or 90 minutes each day. We do 3 gun-related topics each day, different topics throughout the week, and we come up with the subjects for those topics today on Monday. We run the show live on YouTube. We simulcast it over at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the comments from people that watch the show live. We also watch the comments on YouTube. Every once in a while, we'll take the audio from the show and we'll post the best of over on iTunes, on the Daily Gun Show page over on iTunes. So we encourage anybody who's listening to the show now or in the future to leave us some feedback on those various platforms and on the various shows. So liking the show, leaving a comment, subscribing to the channel, all those efforts let us know that you're out there, so we appreciate that. But they also let the robots that run these social media platforms realize that these shows are worth recommending to other listeners, and that's one of our goals. So we really do appreciate that help. It's the only way we can really achieve. We can't pay for advertising or pay to be in front of those people. So your liking and subscribing and commenting are the kind of efforts that get our shows recommended to more listeners. So again, thanks for that. We have hosts. 2 of us are here today. We've got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, glad to be here.
And I, poorly thinking, gave my little dog a little bone. So he's going to be making noise, I think, the whole show. So sorry about that. But we're down here in Tucson. And this will be our first show without Jimmy. We had to get rid of Jimmy. He was just chatting the whole time. Bob didn't like the way he was running the show. So had to let him go. So we're looking for a new Jimmy. If you can run the show on a daily basis and do the early watch, I guess, and then schedule the show. And also, it turns out Bob wants you to make him coffee. So if you can do all those things, then apply. There's no pay. It's an intern job. So dailygunshow@gmail.com.
Yeah, it's going to be good coffee. I'm going to have to test it first, you know.
Yeah, like if you just stop at a gas station on the way to Bob's and give him that, no, he doesn't like that.
No, it's got to be good stuff.
All right, so let's see. Today is Monday, so that means we'll be digging into building the show out for the week. We used to do this once a month, and we decided to try doing it on Mondays. So if you've got ideas, we're going to be looking for ideas for our Second Amendment topics, for good idea, bad idea, for the gun biz, for CCW, for gun stuff, for training, for entertainment, for gun tech, and our alternative topic for the week. So anybody that's got any suggestions for daily topics, start throwing them into the comments over on Gun Channels or on YouTube. And we'll take a break here at the beginning from our jumping into the show. We usually talk about anything that might have happened overnight, or in this case, over the weekend.
You know, there's almost too much to go on to. It was kind of a crazy weekend. Lots of chats and stuff going on and stuff.
Yeah, and we don't like to let this show be guided by the agenda-based media and the topics that they decide are important. And honestly, I want it to be a refuge from people who aren't looking to hear more about all of that. But on the other hand, you know, I guess to some extent we're part of it. We're in the community and we have opinions on this stuff. We know a lot of the players. So I guess some of that drama or whatever we're calling this rift or this current topic of the day might come up a bit. In fact, I was thinking about including this because I started doing this on the gun channel on my gun website side. I was thinking about doing this on the show. So since it's Monday and we're looking for people to give us some help with some topics out there, I figured we might take some time here to read through some of the comments that we've been getting from past shows, if that works for you. So let's jump over here. We're looking for topics for Second Amendment issues, good idea, bad idea, training, the gun biz, CCW, gun tech, our alternative gun topics and gun stuff. So if you've got ideas for any of those, start sending them in. We're watching the comments over here on YouTube and the gun channels. All right, so this is probably from yesterday, the last Friday show or whatever, when we talked about multi-caliber guns. He's saying great concept, Swiss Army gun, one gun for everything. Somebody just said chair against the wall. Yep. So here's a bunch of stuff. Can you please explain how and why Clint Walker took blood money from the Sandy Hook shooting? That was his own statement on whatever. Oh, I don't think he meant from the Sandy Hook. I think he was saying blood money from the Vegas situation, correct? I don't know. Were you watching the thing live, Bob?
No, I caught part of it afterwards, but I didn't catch it live. I didn't even know it was going on. So, but yeah, I think that's what I heard he said. Yeah, it was because of after Sandy Hill, he felt like he was taking blood money.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got to admit that I'm a human being, and when I hear weird shit like that, I tune it out to some extent, and that must have been what kicked in, because he was difficult to listen to, you know, just as a speaker, right? He was on Valium or something. It was like really slow and difficult to keep up, and I just tuned out, I suppose. So it was the other stuff happening, the conversations in Yankees chat, and then the text and whatnot over on Gun Channel. So I guess I didn't miss after it. Saying that, goes on to say, I also heard he claimed to be a sniper who was busted for false valor. About that, I don't know, so I don't know. This guy says he thinks he's a deep cover shill. He's in the industry, so he'd be pretty invested. Something's not right with that guy. Can't leave without Yeah, okay, so not real favorable things about this guy, and some question about the validity of his statement. So I don't remember him saying, was it, he said it was two of his childhood friends? I know he said it was two people he knew, but honestly, I don't know. Just because you know people, you're going to change laws? I mean, that's a hard decision to justify.
You know, like somebody from my town here I live in now was down in Vegas and actually was a victim of that lunatic. But so, I mean, it really did hit in a lot of different places. Like, but it, you know, again, if it had been a bus crash or, you know, or somebody had bombed a bus or something, that I wouldn't be blaming a bomb. You know, it's ludicrous.
So an interesting comment. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff to cover there, and I'm not sure exactly what part of the show. Yeah, we need to put up better thumbnails, because these thumbnails aren't helping me at all, and our comments or our descriptions are pretty poor right now. We'll get on point with that. So we'll keep going. Machine Gun Tongue says to this video back from a couple of days ago, the talk is on YouTube, The Gun Collective, and also Yankee Marshall, full conversation, live taping. I don't know what he's trying to say there. And he says fish, flag art, and booze. So I like the flag art idea. I took that and put it in as our alternative gun topic this week. Let's see, about the time of the show. It is now on at the same time as a popular conservative radio show host. I usually listen in the afternoon. So that's a good insight. Thank you for that. We were asking, hold on a second. There's no way to stop that dog.
He has to take that bone away from that poor dog.
I was gonna, but I'm not gonna, because he's old and miserable, and that's given him the will to live. So you're gonna all listen to my dog chewing on his bone. I could try pushing him into a different room, but I don't really feel like that. So that is good info. Thank you for that. I'll even say thank you for that. You can even see us conversating. So that's interesting. Problem is that she says it's noon. So I guess we could do it with the noon Pacific like we used to. That would make it 3 p.m. But man, I really like this time. How is this time slot working for you, Bob?
It's a little early.
It is a little early, but I really like having the rest of the day. I don't have to worry about the show. I mean, you know what it's like. You're probably the only other person that knows what it's like, except for the people that were listening. And, you know, but every single day I was like, what time is it? What time is it? What time is it? I got to do the show. What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? If I was out doing anything during the day, I'd have to be worried about what time it is. And in the vehicle, it's impossible. it's really difficult to stop in the middle of a day. But just being back in Tucson, I really like being able to get up, get a couple of hours of work done, do the show, and then have the rest of the day where I can get into a project that's going to take all day if it needs to. I know it's not going to be interrupted. I could go somewhere. So I really hope it's working for people. Let's see, where are we at with viewers right now? 22. I think that's pretty good. Now, everybody else is getting into the 40s with viewers, but I don't know if it's necessarily viewers. It's our only metric. So Bob and I and Jimmy's show, though, so we'll see what Jimmy has to say. We won't make any massive policy changes when he's gone today, but we are looking for insight. So thanks to Mike for that insight and like that info about our slot. And you didn't say what time zone you're in, but it probably doesn't matter. If it's a syndicated show, then that means it's on, and that means it's on in whatever appropriate time zone, right? Or if it's a live show, I should say.
Right. Yep.
All right. So a good topic. So this is AR Lover giving us an idea. A good topic would be gun rights in New York and California. I moved from New York to Arizona 3 years ago and never realized how much it means that you can carry when you're raised in an anti-state. You don't know about guns and stuff till you have it, and you now would never go back. If you need to educate those who just don't know. I like that. Educate those who just don't know. So I'm going to put that in as our Second Amendment issue this week, and we'll figure out ways to talk to people who don't even know that they've never been talked to. So somebody's suggesting that you're blaming the squeakiness on your chair. Is no, that's CycleCamp saying that. It's really your bones. So Patriot is saying, let's see, firearms for the. Nope, I still can't see. I wanted to be a part of the show, and I was traveling all day. Of course, now I'm listening in a hotel. Good show though. So firearms. What was this one? Firearms for the disabled, CCW, and hotels. Okay, so I do need to put. See how much nicer it is when you put the topics of the show in the comment. So I'm going to start doing that, especially if we're going to be reading the comments. Shane is saying thanks for the good show. Thank you. And it looks like this is where we started seeing them again already. So regards to the NRA, it's not strong because of a magic power. It's us, the 5 million plus members. And if we leave them, as we should, because they don't seem to get Second Amendment anymore, we need to stay strong as a group. We need to pick up who is the best defensive and offensive group out there for the Second Amendment and support them. If we all go to a different little groups, we will lose the power we do have. So that's a good point. That is a topic I think is urgent at the time. And if we leave the NRA and don't replace it, we open the door to Democrats taking all our rights. So that's a good point.
Yeah, that is. And I mean, that might be something we can bring up on a future show is what is looking like the next biggest alternative to the NRA. I mean, I don't want to give up on the NRA yet. I mean, they're so well established. They're so, they've got such a large membership. It's just a matter of getting them to make the priority back to this, to the Second Amendment, not, how can we make concessions so that they, the people, the left now sees this as not so threatening. In a way, it seems like that's what we're getting.
I don't know where to put this. I'm going to put in the Second Amendment in a week because I think it's Second Amendment.
Yeah, it gives everybody time to think, and we'll also see what's happening. Let's have some time for cool, sober second thought.
All right. With that, we'll jump back over to the gun channel or the YouTube side, I guess, and see if we got some topics coming in. Let's see. Bring back Jimmy. They already got the hashtag Bring Back Jimmy going.
Well, if he'd learned to make coffee.
He's too lippy. Let's see. Holy crap, it's Travis. Yet another Travis. Yeah, we have a bunch of Travises. I did the early watch for him on gun channels, on gun websites this morning. And it was like 5 people from Illinois in that chat. 5 people from Illinois. So now we got 3 Travises. That happens.
Wow, 3 Travises. And that's not like that's a super common name. Well, at least not up here. Maybe it is down there.
It's a hipster millennial name.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, that explains it.
I just alienated 3 Travises. Okay, good idea, bad idea. and he's going to take it back because he's Travis. Open carrying, carting a rifle at rallies. That's a good one. And we'll talk about Matt's 2A rally, or the Second Amendment's 2A rally here in a second. But that's a good one. So I think that's a good idea. Bad idea? Thank you for that one.
That could be a good idea, bad idea, because I got some thoughts on that.
Oh, sounds like one of the Travises is a DJ. So one of the things we need is little intro pieces, some way to like transition between the first segment and the second segment, something that's like a cool hipster way to transition into the Gun Channel's member of the day, the gun shop of the day, gun show, gun of the day, that kind of thing. So if you've got any interest in some of those.
I love it.
Huh?
A cool hipster way.
Yeah, like a beatnik way. Like we want some cool like transition segues. So anyway, if anybody's interested in that,
Or our speed.
and then email them to us at dailygunshow@gmail.com. We would definitely appreciate it, and we'll plug you. We'll plug you good. Let's see. There's too many comments. I feel like Yankees chat. See, so we don't need 2,300. We just need 23 people that actually chat. And then minus all the trolls, it's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. I can't do 3 p.m. Eastern to drive to Boston, and I need the GPS queued up. And that's the problem I was having with the phones. GPS is neat with Google and everything, but it ties up your phone. I was a Comedy Central Democrat. I like guns, but thought they were only for the professionals. And that's something that we don't talk about. I'm going to put that in here. The Comedy Central Democrat. Everybody I know who isn't a gun person, even some of the gun people, I would consider them Comedy Central Democrats. They get all their damn news from those stupid shows on Comedy Central that think they're so witty. Where do we put that under? Gun biz?
I'll go let my dog out. He's whining at the door.
Oh, no, you said go out. No, my dog's. Oh, he's eating. Holy crap. That means my dog walked away from food. That's a good sign. All right. That must be an old millennial. Yep. Pistol grip only, shotgun versus shockwave versus tactical shotgun. That's a good one. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this show. So we'll put that under gun stuff. Yeah. Too many Travi. I agree. That should be the hashtag. 2, and then many, and then Travi. Maynard J. Krebs. I don't know who that is. Right on. Yeah, appreciate that. Alternative weapons for carry in restricted areas. I like that one too. So put that under CCW. Look at that. We're building the show as a team. And the dog's drinking now. Night Strike is saying he doesn't feel like getting Bob his coffee. I don't blame you, because he says you're just bringing over coffee. But then why does it take 20 minutes? And why do people run out of there like that after 20 minutes? Let's see. Well, me and Jimmy, we don't want to go back to the long format. Yeah, I hear that. Let's see. Angry saying he likes the time slot. That's good to hear. Put shotgun inserts in the stock. Awesome. So, oh, I see. So 41022 for End of the World. I guess we could put that in under gun tech. Sounds like a good gun tech segment. And then I will add that caveat of inserts in the stock, because I like that idea a lot. So with a 410, you got the ability to shoot 9, 38, 357, 45. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, a 12 gauge, you can have all that ability too. So that's part of the discussion, I suppose, whether or not 12 or 20. But I would kind of think for, how do I get this to go in here? I would kind of think for the, what's the difference in a 410 barrel or a 12 gauge barrel? Now you can get all those same inserts for your 12, and now you can shoot 12 gauge, which is super common. All right, sent in some good idea, bad ideas. I'm assuming that's an email. Thanks for that. Let's see. If the NRA does nothing else, it serves as the devil in the dark so the other organizations can do the deeds. And I think there's definitely something to that. I don't know if that phrase so much, but I think of them as the aircraft carrier. And we got all other organizations are the destroyers and the subs and the, attack craft and everything else. And you got that aircraft carrier to take some of the heat and to be the fear, right? They know that there's a big one out there that's got all the resources. And yeah, if they keep their eye on that one, then the little organizations can do their thing. So yeah, I definitely can't be on the side of just pull the NRA down. And I don't think anybody is on that side, but definitely more room for discussion there.
No, for sure. That's a whole that's a whole show almost or more.
So create snap cap like inserts that you can use in a pump shotgun that you could use stuff like 9mm in a shotgun. That might be an interesting one. So it's kind of like a reusable subcaliber insert that's not a barrel insert, but more of like a caliber chamber.
So you can use those. I think just the short inserts, they'll actually cycle through a pump, right?
Yes and no. I mean, technically maybe, but they're not cheap and then they're heavy. So maybe something with plastic and a metal shroud for a barrel that's rugged enough. I don't know. Somebody put their mind to it. And then it would also have to have something that holds the cartridge in there, because typically those caliber inserts, subcaliber inserts, they're not held in by anything. So it's just gravity and the closing of the action that holds it in there. So if you were to pump it, there's nothing stopping the 38 round from sliding it into the action and just getting all jammed up in there.
Yeah, you'd have to have something that would hold the rim or somehow lock it. Like if it was a rimmed round, that's easy. If it's not a rimmed round, might be a little trickier. Might have to have some kind of spring clip. But it should still be feasible. God, they were giving somebody some genius idea to make a pile of money.
Seriously.
That would sell to preppers like crazy.
I agree. Has another topic. Do single action revolvers still have a defensive purpose? Of course not. No. They should be thrown away.
Of course they do. They're wonderful guns, and if you're good, you only need one shot, especially if it's a real caliber like 357 or 44 long Colt.
Hashtag just one shot. Gun Biz, how to promote gun shows. I like that one. Thank you for that one. And I think we still needed a Gun Biz for this week. So we're actually digging into the next week's shows again. So appreciate that. At some point, we'll cut the reins on this so we don't turn it into just a scheduling show. Yeah. Got a couple of movies here. Have you ever seen Angels with Dirty Faces?
That is an old movie. I think I've seen it, but geez, it's been like a long, long time. I don't really remember anything about it. I just remember the name.
Here. I keep clicking on the wrong tab. The Day After. Gone with the Wind. I ain't putting Gone with the Wind in there. Is that a gun movie? Are we being trolled?
Well, it's World War One, or not World War One. Jesus, it's Civil War. So there was, I mean, they burned down, I don't know, whatever that southern city they burned down at the end of the war.
All right. Thank you for that. So now we have some gun movies for the week here. Is Bob drunk? Probably not. 45 Long Colt? Question mark. That's about, yes. Yes.
No, I'm not. Morning. That's another reason I'm not crazy about these early morning shows.
He's probably still drunk from last night, yes.
That's possible.
All right. I need somebody with a machine shop. So do I. That'd be awesome. Let's see. Or actually, talk to Firing Line. They make the chamber inserts that I've got. They're good people, and they are innovative. They have, when Dave Canterbury or whatever told them he wanted XYZ, they made it. So give them an idea. Red Dawn. Yeah, we haven't talked about Red Dawn in a while. Definitely put that one in there.
Or if we wanted to really troll people, we could do the new Red Dawn movie.
That doesn't count as a gun movie. millennials just like moaning.
I have to go back because my girlfriend's there.
There's a synopsis of Red Dawn 2. All right, so there you go. That's how you know you're not having to pay for this content. Or somebody just going.
Almost sounds like a zombie movie, though.
I've been watching that funny one, Z Nation. I've been watching Z Nation because they have a new. I've only seen 2 seasons, I think, and they're up to 4. So I figured instead of just watching season 3 and trying to remember everything, which I won't be able to do, I'd start from the beginning again. I think I'm like halfway through the first season. It's pretty funny.
It is. It's funny, and it's got some good bits. It's got some real like schlocky bits, but I kind of like that in a zombie movie.
Yeah, it's almost like everyone is making, at least in the first season, each show is making fun of like a different type of zombie kind of thing, and then making up some of their own. I like it. It's definitely having fun with the thing. Yeah, I definitely liked it more than Walking Dead. All right, ever seen Way of the Gun? Of course, it has pretty realistic gunplay, and I usually watch a show like a podcast. Okay, thanks. Appreciate both of those. And yeah, Way of the Gun is definitely one of the good gunplay type of movies out there. We talk about it every so often because it's a good one. All right, so with that, we will get rid of asking for stuff. Appreciate it. Continue to throw stuff in if you want, but we'll keep moving on with the show. And I think I can stop screen sharing, or should I? Maybe we keep going. So we're about to talk about how to use social media. So before we do, we're going to take a break between the first and second segment of the show, which we do each day, to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a place we built. It's a community, and it's focused on firearms. It's completely run by its members. And with that in mind, we like to feature one of the members each day. And this, I don't know what we're calling this. Like for a while here, we've been going through the members in the order that we met up with them at on the Gun Show Loophole Tour. Here's the thing: Pink is trying to sneak in here twice because I met up with Pink at the bullpup shoot in Illinois. He was like one of the first or second, third person I met up with. So then when I went out to the Bannerman Castle and through Washington D.C., I came back out to visit with Pink again, and he's trying to get in here twice. So I guess I have to put it in here twice because he's in here, but just keep in mind he's double dipping. So I'm kidding around, but yeah, I met up with Pink a few times now. He's gone out to SHOT Show, and he goes to all kinds of things as far as going out and taking pictures as Gun Channels, and then just going out and meeting up with people. So he drove out to that bullpup shoot, and then all kinds of things. He had bought me a laptop so that we could do the animation stuff. Appreciate that. And it came in the mail after the bullpup shoot. So that's one of the reasons I swung past there. He also is a car guy. So I stopped by there to fix the electrical in the back, the auxiliary battery. I also helped give it kind of a tune up, get rid of that squeaky belt, and just generally help me, as a knowledgeable person, look through the engine and make sure everything was good to go, kind of evaluated the brakes and some stuff. So really appreciate all that. Also gave me a place to hang out there, and we went up and grabbed his camper while I was there. So he's got that better camper than Bob. And we went up to Columbus to grab it. I can't keep track of all the towns in Ohio because they all have C's in them. So let's see, what else we do. He took me to a bunch of gun shops, one of the shops up there, and then some of the shops around his area. So I got to see a bunch of Ohio gun shops, and then on my way out of Ohio, he came along and I dragged him up to the Dayton Air Museum, and we did a show from there. This show from there. So yeah, Pink's a hell of a guy. I don't know what he's doing next. Probably SHOT Show. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see him at Tulsa or something crazy like that.
Yeah, you never know. He pops up everywhere. But yeah, I've met him at SHOT last year, and he's just a great guy. I mean, honest God. I mean, and he's not nicknamed Pink because of the singer. He's nicknamed Pink because he had a pink Roadrunner, the car, not the bird.
Yeah, and well, I don't want to get too much into his personal thing, but definitely he's a car guy. And yeah, appreciate everything, Pink. And not to mention all that, but he also helped literally change Gun Channels. Like I keep saying when we talk about this segment, that Gun Channels is completely run by its members. Pink saw that we were in a kind of a slump between years 2 and 3, I guess, probably somewhere in there. And there were live chats up till then that kind of spontaneously happened. And it was sort of a group effort. Whoever was around or whoever wanted to do one that night, they would do the lobby chat. And it was sort of, I don't know what you call that, like a, just pass the hat type of thing. Whoever wanted to do it, did it. And then for a long time, no one was doing it. And then Pink came along and started doing it consistently and literally changed Gun Channels. It changed the whole feel of Gun Channels. People knew that they could come to an evening chat. It created evening conversations. Those spurred some more of the primetime shows to keep going, and allowed us to start doing this show and others to start doing their projects. So yeah, yep. It's been definitely a big piece of Gun Channels ever since it was here, and kept it going and breathed new life into it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, instead of it just being a hit or miss, there might be evening chat or there might not. You can almost, you could count on there being a chat room open to jump into.
I like the way you say that. If it wasn't for Pink, Gun Channels would only be hit or miss. How depressing would that be? So.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thanks for saving us from that. All right. So thanks for everybody. Thanks, Ghost, for mentioning the thumbs up. As I mentioned in the beginning, we do appreciate the thumbs up, not because we're a bunch of 16-year-old girls looking for the popularity, but we're a bunch of Second Amendment advocates that want our message to get out there. And having an audience that understands how the social media platforms work and interacting with them is more valuable than gold. So we do appreciate the people that take the time to click on that little thumb. And then I guess there's a little Liberty Bell down there someplace you can click on, and that will tell you when our shows are being it'll basically turns on your announcements or whatever. It'll tell you when the show goes live every day. All right, Ellis is going to work. He says, remember, he'll be doing a show tomorrow at 6 p.m., an interview with Never Enough Ammo. So that's pretty cool. Ellis has been one of the newer members of Gun Channels to start throwing his hat into the ring for the primetime shows. And yeah, we'll definitely be mentioning that again tomorrow as well. So that takes us into how to use social media. That is one topic I didn't ask about because I didn't think about it. It was way at the top of the spreadsheet there. So if somebody has a specific idea, feel free. Otherwise, you got a topic, Bob, for how to use social media today?
Me and social media, we don't really get along that well.
That's fine.
But
so don't instead, let's keep moving forward. So let's talk about old school stuff. We talk a lot about theory and using the social media platforms and that kind of thing, but let's get back to basics. So how do you get information out to social media, cameras and phones and that kind of hardware? So I mean, I think most people these days are using smartphones. Probably some people out there still using the old style flip phones or something, but even those phones had fairly decent cameras on them, if I remember. They weren't as big as the smartphone cameras these days, but they were still 5 plus megapixels, right?
Yeah, they were okay. I mean, I started doing mine with some super cheap $29.99 camera I bought, that was supposedly high def, but it was basically a potato. But it worked. I mean, you look at my really early videos, you can see they're really bad. And then I started using my iPhone when I got a phone that could do it. But, you don't need all the high tech. You don't need a super duper expensive camera. You can get by with stuff either your phone or stuff you buy for cheap.
Very true. Now I bought a tablet, basically a little bit bigger than a phone, but smaller than an iPad type of tablet. I don't really know the size, 7 inches, maybe 10 inches. I don't know, but they measure them diagonally, so it's tough to gauge it. Anyway, that thing isn't a phone. It doesn't work off the cell phone signal or anything, but it is Wi-Fi. So once you are near a Wi-Fi environment, like in your home or at your office or school or church or truck stop or McDonald's or whatever it happens to be, then it's effectively online, and it's basically strong enough to do live chats. I haven't initiated a live chat from it, although I suspect I could, but I've definitely joined in on other people's chats, and It works. It's not the best camera, and you know the nature of live streaming. You move the camera, it's going to be really blurry, and then if you hold the camera really still, it has time to kind of collect all the pixels or whatever it does, and the image will come in a little better. But it's never going to be as nice as you know, some of the other equipment out there. But $70 and a Wi-Fi connection, so $70 and free as far as connecting to the internet, is got a lot going for it. And if you want to just start getting your feet wet and participating in people's chats or jumping into the lobbies, or just making some YouTube videos where the camera isn't the emphasis, then that's definitely an inexpensive option to get in on creating content.
Oh yeah, yeah. I never even thought about that. Yeah, with a tablet, you could do that. Yeah, doing chats off a phone using your phone internet, that's pretty tough. I've tried it. You can join them, that's fine. Hosting is, unless you got a really good connection, that's probably not going to work. So,
well, the thing about using a phone to host is that the app on the phone doesn't let you open a Hangout. It'll let you open a live stream, but that'd be a one-way type of thing where you're live and you're pointing the camera at stuff, and you can see the comments that are coming in. You can respond to them verbally, but you're not going to be able to type a response, and you can't invite people in. And those are the aspects, the characteristics of these Hangouts, which really make them appealing for the group discussions and the conversations and whatnot. But again, you can do a heck of a lot with the tool, with a phone and a live stream. You can really, you know, you can be a lot of places. A lot of these news type of things wouldn't lend themselves to Hangout like this. If I was at a Second Amendment rally on the 5th of November, right, and I wanted to help get the word out about that thing live, I wouldn't necessarily want a computer set up with a Hangout and then have to deal with all that. I would, maybe it'd be a lot easier to just go online with your phone and go live.
Yeah, and just stream it. Yeah.
Now it's easier for you, the person creating content, but it might not necessarily be easier for the overall bigger picture, the community effort at communication. So with that in mind too, you know, as much as we're gonna suggest that people get their feet wet and practice and stuff, maybe the 5th of November, when there's a whole bunch of effort being done on a specific focus, then maybe that's not the time to practice. Maybe that's a time to use your skills and join in on a chat, or, you know, use your skills to promote some existing efforts that are out there, because we can fall into a problem when lots and lots of people have the ability to create content that can be very, very distracting or hard to sort through if everyone always chooses to create content. There's times when you have the ability to do something, but it's wiser to collaborate with somebody else or acknowledge somebody else's efforts for the unified message or for the clarity, you know, as opposed to just being another voice because you can. You know, sometimes it's better to shut up and let another voice get the word out clearer and be part of it. You know, all these skills let you join in to these conversations and whatnot.
Yeah. And anybody else who's listening out there might also have noticed it's not my bones alone that creak.
Are you talking about my chair here? Yeah. And then what are you doing here? This was a $10 chair at the Habitat for Humanity. At some point, it's gonna crap out on me too. Let's see. There's another thing we were talking about. You kind of alluded to it with your inexpensive camera. Now, is that the one that you gave me? That little blue one?
No, I had an even cheaper one.
Okay, because the one you gave me is a fairly inexpensive. I'm assuming. What do they call those?
Polaroid, schematic.
Yeah, but the autofocus, basically, there's no need for a big lens or anything. It's like a point focuser. I forget what they call it, but basically, it's always in focus. Like, you don't have to really pay attention. It's a pinhole type of deal. So it's pretty much point and shoot. You just take out of your pocket, turn it on, and then take pictures with it. I imagine for, at this point, under $100, you're going to get a very adequate camera like that. And what I kind of like about the ones that are under 100 as opposed to the very expensive style is the efficiency of it. Like, there's going to be fewer buttons because they didn't put all the bells and whistles on it. You probably don't need all the bells and whistles for most effort. Like, you know, as a hobbyist or as someone who's an artist or really exploring the production of, you know, what you can actually do, sure, you're going to want all those bells and whistles. But for just getting the job done, then the basic set that you're going to get on an inexpensive camera is going to, I'm assuming, going to be exactly, you know, everything that you need, and probably even a little bit more still. But it doesn't take much to take a bunch of pictures, and I really like taking pictures. The pictures end up actually being probably a little bit more work, because if you really want to follow through and take those pictures and post them somewhere like Instagram or gun channels or Facebook or wherever, make them into a slideshow and put them on YouTube, then you're going to have either knowledge of what you're taking pictures of in order to say something with it, or collect information and research and then have something to say along with those pictures. If you're doing some kind of thing where you're doing like an audio, right, you're going to have something to say, or you're going to use them as a point of discussion. You're going to want to have some knowledge on what you're talking about. But if you're just posting them as pictures, you're going to do a lot better for whatever your project or your effort is, if instead of just posting a picture by itself, if you post the picture with some sort of description. And more interesting and elaborate the description is, you know, can add to how widely distributed your pictures get. So if your goal is to educate or to get the word out about something, then adding some text or whatever is appropriate. And like I said, that honestly, that turns out to be a lot more work in my mind than turning on the camera and doing the video camera and doing a bit of video. It might take you a couple of minutes to get used to what you want to say, or maybe a couple of takes even, but we're talking about digital film here. So if you film it once and you mess up, don't delete it, just keep it on there. Film it again, you get 3/4 of the way through it, don't delete it, just keep it on there. Film it a 4th time or 3rd time or however many times, and you finish it, perfect. Now you've got those other ones you can use to chop up, and let's say you had a pause or an awkward something, you can maybe edit a piece out of those first ones. If it turns out you don't need those for any kind of editing, delete them later. But then, you know, what you've got, a final product there is a couple of minutes of description, you know, whatever you had to say about something, and it's done. Now you still want to maybe type something up when you post that as a video in your description and in your tags, you know, in order to get, again, the most efficient use out of your content there, your efforts. But it's a lot easier once you've already said it, because now you can really just listen to the video and type that out, or a version of that. And, you know, let's say you're talking about something that you're familiar with, but not an expert in the subject matter. So you go to a museum, you read a couple of the little displays there, and then you do a quick video of the shadow box, and you basically talk about whatever you just read. More than likely, if you're like me, that information is going to come and go. You know, the rest of the museum later, or the next day, or after your vacation or your trip, you're not going to remember what you specifically said about that specific Civil War gun, right? But if you made a little video, you've just reminded yourself. So now whenever you do post that video, you listen to your video right there. You just type some of that information back out. Now you're actually providing something useful. And of course, you're pointing people to the museum for further information, or, you know, let start their exploration out into Wikipedia or wherever they go. And again, that was an inexpensive camera that you were able to do all that with, and then an internet connection.
Yep. Yeah. It's like really easy to get started in just posting videos and stuff. So that's the way to start anyway. I mean, you know, so the way I did.
So like, I don't know if we started late or not today, but we'll move along. So the how to use social media is an effort each week to remind people that we are the new media, and you can be an audience if that's what you choose. But remember, that's a choice. This new media, the fun part of it, thing I've had fun with it on the internet now for years, is being able to be part of the creation of it, and at least give it a shot. If it turns out you try it and you don't like it, didn't cost you much. And if it turns out it's a new hobby or a new passion for you, then maybe you will have the ability to get the word out to some of these antis in a new way. And I think it's worth it for just that. You know, if you're the person who's going to come up with the perfect meme because you're farting around trying to learn how to use an image software, and you put something out there that just hits, you don't know until you try it. So it doesn't cost nothing to try and find out you don't like it, except for some time, I guess. Anyway, that's the point of this segment of the show, is to encourage people to give stuff a try and hopefully explore some of the things that you may not have thought about, to give you some inspiration to do that kind of stuff. So we'll go into the third segment of the show where we talk about events, unless you want to dig into one of the daily stuff. Thanks, Bob.
I don't know. We could dig into that. How about we do the gun of the day?
Is this even a gun?
Yeah, it's the ATEX Bullpup, and that's it's a civilian version of Australia's new bullpup that they're producing to replace the AUG 9, the Steyr AUG. So
Fancy Steyr is a new Steyr.
yeah, well, except it's made in Australia, and there also are some being produced in the U.S. now for civilians, without, of course, the full auto capability. But yeah, really cool looking gun.
How do you put a bump fire stock on this gun?
You just have to learn to bump fire it the old-fashioned way.
I don't know if you can bump fire a bullpup.
Yeah, you should be able. You can bump fire anything.
Yeah, that horrible trigger. It's way up front.
Yeah, but the trigger, that's the big difference. The trigger on this thing is good.
Oh, sure. Good compared to other bullpups? Or good?
Well, way better than the AUG. And the AUG was, you know, for a bullpup, it was okay. I've shot worse.
Let me ask you this. How many bullpups did Browning design?
Well,
Yeah.
the operation's the same. It's just the way you put it together.
No, he wasn't. He knew what he was doing. So he's like, no, I'm not going to put my wheels before my horse.
Well, anyway, it is a cool little gun. I like the idea of bullpups. Like, you know, I like the idea that they're so short, they're so compact. But yeah, there's always been trigger problems with them. This one, I've heard people say, you know, it's a lot better. It's a decent trigger. So I don't know. I haven't tried one. I'd love to try one. I'm hoping to get a chance to try one when I come down this year, if I can find somebody who's got one. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of a bullpup with an okay trigger. Because other than that, I don't see a problem with them. They're, once you get used to the handling of them, like, you know, loading mags and stuff like that, I think they're the future. They've just got to figure out that trigger.
How long do these have to exist before you quit saying they're the future? Like how many decades have to exist before people acknowledge they're not the future?
Yeah, all the sci-fi movies, futuristic sci-fi movies, they've got bullpups in them, and there's a reason for that.
You know what bullpups might be? But well, you won't need a barrel anymore. I was going to say whatever we have like energy projectiles, so that this is more of a battery, and you don't need to change it, because as long as you need to change the magazine, I think bullpups will always suffer. And then aiming, there's just nothing you can do. Bullpups always have to have their sights all goofy because of the way you gotta rub up against the gun to be able to see.
Yeah, but look at what they're coming up with. I mean, they're coming up with automatic aiming devices where, you know, literally with an electronic sight, you could just tag your target and, you know, it's going to fire as soon as the bullet can hit it or the projectile can hit it, regardless whether we're using, you know, powder or energy weapons.
Yeah. So guy who doesn't like polymer guns advocate for robots throwing your bullets down to me.
Well, I'm just talking for the future. I'm not talking for myself, of course.
All right. Yeah, I don't like them. You can't. How do you use a bayonet on this gun? Where do you use it to use it as a melee weapon?
Pistols back in the day.
What?
They put bayonets on pistols back in the day.
Well, I'm just saying you can put a bayonet on it, but there's just nowhere to hold the thing. And then what's all this space back here? Like they just decided, hey, let's make a bunch of extra space that isn't going to do nothing for the gun.
Well, I guess in the military version, that's probably going to have a battery in it to run on a sight, an electronic type sight, like an ECOG or some type of sight like that, ACOG, EOTech, something like that. You know, but a modern, more, you know, high-tech version.
The more high-tech version than we got now that's going to need a whole shit ton of D batteries or something. Like,
it's going to be a battery that lasts for the life of the gun.
Although a watch battery runs an EOTech for 5 years, right? Or not an EOTech, an Aimpoint for 5 years right now. I don't know how long. Do these even have batteries? I don't think ACOGs have batteries. They're just fiber optic, right? Anyway, that's my other thing about bullpups is they have to create something back here for your ergonomics, and then that just creates a big rudder of wasted space. And if they try to add something to it, then they're just weighting down the gun.
But just,
The correct answer would have been tourniquet and spare mags. But
when we go with electromagnetic projectiles, all right, like a rail gun, that's
with
batteries.
the energy and the density packets or something, yeah, then I'm okay with it. If we even need all this, though, if we come up with density guns, why won't they look like a Chris or something where you don't need all this anyway? All the stuff is up here.
Yeah, but I don't know. I hate the looks of a Chris Vector.
Well, I'm not saying I like the looks of any of these, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm not necessarily against bullpups, but they're not winning me over necessarily.
Anyway, that's the newest one, and that's our gun of the day, or one of the newest bullpups, I think, that's out. And it's our gun of the day. And if you don't like it, yeah, suck it up, Buttercup, because that's what I do.
Yeah,
Right.
all right. Well, since I'm screen sharing, we will go to, what did I do? Oh, we're going to the Eagle Range virtual tour. So I think somebody sent this one in. So this is the Eagle Range. Or no, you know what it is? I was looking at one of our range videos that we made, and this one was a recommended video. So I figured I would show a range walkthrough from
Hi, welcome to Eagle Gun Range. How may I help you?
Hi, I
From
was
a gun shop.
shooting today. It's actually my first time here. I was wondering if I could have a tour.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and get you started by getting your driver's license or a passport, and I will have you read the range.
No. Where is this place?
Thank you.
Lame.
All right, very good. So let's handguns for rent. We have lots of rifles for rent as well. The handguns are only $5 plus the cost of ammo if you'd like to try some different ones out.
$5 ain't bad.
And then over here, we have our classrooms, 2 different classrooms that we perform training in. We do field handgun classes, pistol classes, and birthday parties.
No, we got no affiliation with this range. I don't even know where it is necessarily. Like I say, I'm pretty sure it was just a suggested video. So I'm going to go ahead and rag on them a little bit. Wouldn't this be annoying? This giant white, stark white room with the white desks and everything? I think they could put a little effort into making that room less boring for whatever class this is. It's 8 hours, right? That's almost torture in this room.
Yeah, that is pretty stark. I mean, put some posters up. I guess maybe they don't want to distract from the classroom, but yeah.
No, I think some of the best class. I've been to a lot of CCW classes, and some of the best ones have so many posters on the wall that you have something else. Because some of this is mind-numbing. Here's a revolver, and here's a barrel, and here's a grip. You know, I mean, some of that stuff for hours can just kill you. So, yeah, I think having some extra. At least the chairs look super comfortable.
Yeah, I'm looking at yeah, it looks like it's a nicely set up for a classroom. It's just it's so white.
Yeah.
That could trigger some snowflakes.
They feel comfortable there.
Birthday parties and corporate events.
Birthday parties and corporate events. Like, here's your birthday party, and they close the door.
That would be 8 hours.
Let's get ready to go out to the range. Did you happen to bring your eye and ear protection today?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay, not a problem. We actually do have some that we can sell to you for very inexpensive because we don't rent or loan them out just for hygiene reasons. So go ahead and wait in the customer lounge for me if you would.
I don't disagree with that policy, but I think I'd word it
You'll see all of our
differently.
firearms that we have for sale.
And I'm looking at what's this giant bullet. Bunch of BB guns, 22s. What's that giant? That's a naval artillery shell or something. Bunch of carbines over there.
Okay, I have some safety gear here for you.
Looks like they have a TV going with just news. That's interesting.
Yeah, that could be running like Daily Gun Show just nonstop and
That's what they
Here's
should
your ear
do.
protection.
a lot more interesting.
And here's a set of eye protection for you. All right, so if you're ready, let's go ahead and head out to the bay. Just follow me. All right, so here's bay 1. We have 2 bays of 12 lanes each, so we have a total of 24 lanes.
That's a lot.
If you'll notice back here behind the firing line, it's nice and spacious, plenty of room to walk around. And anytime you're on the bay, it's real important to remember we're always going to have a range safety officer on the bay while the range is hot.
They got a bunch of chairs there. It's nice and clean.
We also have cameras on the other side. We have another range safety officer that's watching monitors at all times, and he's in communication with the range safety officer that's back here. So we can just make sure everybody's being completely safe.
I don't know if they need to explain all that, but it's certainly nice to know, I guess.
Ventilation system. That's pushing air downrange at a gentle 1 mile per hour breeze. Okay, and it's going to keep it a nice, comfortable 72 degrees all year round in here. So let's go ahead and walk up to the firing line.
72 degrees seems kind of warm.
Yeah, it seems
All right,
super
so
stuffy.
An extra added layer of protection that we have here.
I want it to be
500 steel in between each lane, and that's to protect you from any possible penetration of any bullet of any caliber that we allow.
Now, for me, it seems too close to be shooting at that AR-500 right there. I would put it downrange somewhere. And it seems unsafe to be shooting it straight towards the person next to you, but that's just me.
On this range.
Yeah, on the other hand, it's that way, you know, if you have a accidental discharge into the side of the bay, it's only going to come back and kill you and not the guy next to you.
Honestly, though, I'm kidding around, but I don't know if I'd want AR-500 in between each one. I'd rather have it be like a phone book material where it absorbs the bullet, because I don't want it ricocheting right back off.
Yeah, and it could ricochet back and back into the where the people are behind the line. So,
well, yeah, who knows? But anyway.
Retrieval system. You can set in the distance that you want, and it will bring it exactly to that distance for you.
As we pick apart the gun shop today.
Lighting downrange.
I don't like the little cardboard thing. He has holes in it, and I don't like them kind of paper clips on it.
I think it really shows a concern for their customer safety, though, which is, you know,
airflow that I talked.
Would people not want to get shot? I suppose.
Yeah,
Here's me. I don't work at a shooting range. I've only been to a bunch of them, you know, over the years, and every once in a while there's a hole in it. I know there's problems and stuff, but it seems like a heck of a lot of concern. I wouldn't care if they weren't there. Let's put it that way. I've been to plenty of ranges where there's nothing between people and nobody dies. You know, like it creates an impression that this is something that happens all the time, and I don't know. Like I say, I don't really care that it's there, but it would not bother me a bit if it wasn't there. I don't look at it as like a improvement to a range to have some sort of massive barriers between the shooters. I honestly don't like shooting in the ones where you have, I'd rather go to an outdoor range where it's just open, because then you don't have that concussion hitting you. How often do you really shoot inside of a little, what do you call that, little cubby like that where the concussion hits you? It's just abusive.
Yeah, that would probably not be as pleasant. But that's probably why, you know, it's limited to smaller caliber handgun type rounds.
Or that's one of the reasons, yeah, exactly. If that thing wasn't there, then you couldn't be so, well, anyway, it's also the burn.
That's circulating the air every 80 seconds in here so that you're not breathing in any lead particles or gunpowder or anything like that. It's pushing all that downrange and it's keeping you comfortable all year round. So that concludes our tour. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And if I missed anything, feel free to ask the range safety officer. And with that, go ahead and step up and enjoy your time with us today.
That's awesome. And they did this video as like a whatever on YouTube. It's got 16,000 views. That's cool. Let's give it another thumbs up over there. And then, but that you can have that running in their shop, right? Like let people watch that. And then, you know, most people aren't going to read, or they read and they don't get it all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely, I mean, for all our picking it apart, it looks like a hell of a nice range. And yeah, I'd definitely go there if I was anywhere in the area.
I don't know if I get their like buy inexpensive stuff as opposed to have it, but I guess I can understand why you wouldn't want to just, I don't know why you wouldn't just have a bunch of ear pro out for people to use. I mean, obviously you don't want to let them, you know, you just wipe them with alcohol wipes or something. Yeah,
I mean, you ever go bowling?
Eyewear? I guess I could see, because you can buy eyewear for $1 or $2. So that means they must be buying it for like 40 cents or 60 cents or something. So yeah, make people buy eyewear if they don't have glasses and they didn't think to bring sunglasses or something. That's not too bad. But ear pro, I don't see that being a big deal. I don't know what part of the country is lice a bigger thing in some places. Maybe they're worried about lice in the hair.
Could be, but again, you say you wipe them down with alcohol after each use, and that's not a big deal. You can get an alcohol swab cloth, like those kind of things you wipe your hands with, and yeah, you wipe down the insides and that, and it'd be fine. Although you can, ear protection is so cheap now. Like, you can buy decent muffs. Yeah, no, they're not electronic or anything, but they're, $10 or less.
Oh, here, it looks like they're in Louisville, Texas. I don't know how they say Louisville in Texas. And then it looks like they've got just a few videos, but it's one of them is the situational awareness. One of them is basic handgun safety after the incident. And then some outdoorsmen at the range. So very cool. Oh, it looks like they have some more. And then that tour, and then a couple of more instructional ones. So it's cool. At least they're getting out there and getting their shop.
Yeah, I think it's great to see them there, that they have a presence on YouTube like that. So
that was us playing one of our gun shop videos, and then that was the recommended one over to the side. So whenever they posted that thing, boom, now they're on one of the hottest podcasts in the nation, just like that. Bam, didn't even have to pay for that.
Yeah,
so we'll send them a bill, but they didn't know they were paying for that. Oh, I guess I should have kept screen.
It worked so far, so hey.
Yeah, we'll just keep sending bills. Somebody will forget and pay us, or not realize what we're asking them, they'll pay us. So we're going into the events. So we're now reaching into over the hour, I think, but we'll getting closer to our shows here. On Mondays, we talk about the events that are coming up. So it looks like we've got a Kane County, Illinois gun show in October. Nope, we don't. That is from a couple of days ago, and somebody didn't put an end date on it, so we need to go in there and kill that. Wanamaker Gun Show looks like is the next thing that's showing up on our calendars. That's on the 11th of November, and looks like Tuesday will be in Ghost Tactical's Tactical Tuesday chat. We'll be opening up a 7-day campaign to get a house and kind of arrange everything so that Tulsa is all figured out, and then a bunch of Gun Channels people will be figured out with those solid plans if they can join in, and we'll have a bit of a get together. Ideally, we'll show up a bit early and into Tulsa and get a tour of the J.M. Davis Museum as a group. Otherwise, we'll all show up and attend the show. And I plan on having a table there with a bunch of my bayonets, trying to make some money, keep the gun show loophole tour going. And a bunch of people will be showing up just to search out stuff for their collections, or buy a gun that they've been wanting for a while. Some people have been saving up for the show. It happens twice a year. This one's in November, and it'll happen again in March, but that's coming up next on our calendar, at least. A couple of days after that will be the Gun Channel's anniversary. We'll be going into our 4th year as a community over here. Then it looks like the SAR show is the next show on the list, and that's in December. That's the Small Arms Review magazine, does a large gun show with basically the largest gun show this side of Tulsa. So the largest gun show this side of the Mississippi, aside from Tulsa, is the SAR show, or is the Crossroads of the West December show. And then the Small Arms Review magazine sets up basically the entire second gun show right there. That'll be fun. Then we got SHOT Show coming up in 2018. As well as the Great American Outdoor Show. I think that's the one in Pennsylvania, right? It's coming up in February. Then we have some things further along in the 2018. I don't really want to start talking about 2018. That makes it seem like we're jumping the gun. So there's still a few months left in 2017, and I suspect there's more firearms-related events out there. So if you'd like to do a couple of things, be part of this show because we feature the calendar each month, but also if you'd like to be helping out those events, we encourage you to go up to the top of Gun Channels. Any page is going to have the same menu. Go down to Firearms Calendar, and when that opens up over on the right here, you'll have a link to add a new item to the calendar, and anybody on Gun Channels can do that, and we encourage you. It could be something like a gun show or an event that you participate in, or an event that you attend, or one that you'd like to attend. By posting it here, you're not only letting the human beings over on gun channels know about the event, but you're actually helping that event out. If it's like the Connecticut Citizens Defense League, if by posting this, Cycle Camp is posting that here, that's helping. That's an established website that's linking back to this event. So when somebody types in gun owners' rights groups, this is a more valid response from the robots that run everything. So you're letting the human beings here on gun channels know about the event, but you're also helping the event out just in general on the internet. So we definitely encourage you to use the calendars over here and other places. If you're promoting an event, don't stop at gun channels. Go post it on Facebook, or go post about it on Instagram or something. But all those valid links back to that event are useful. So it looks like that's our abbreviated upcoming calendar of events here. I think with that, we can move on to, we did gun of the day, we did gun movie. No, we didn't do gun movie. We don't have a gun movie today. Did you watch any movies over the weekend?
Nope.
I watched Minority Report, and it has stupid guns in that movie. Do you remember that movie?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So they got some kind of ratchet gun where you kind of go click, 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 and it kind of, the whole gun pivots in the middle. It's pointless and it's stupid, and I don't know, they were just trying to make a different kind of tool, I think. But super distracting and dumb. It shoots out like a pulse beam where the person goes flying back into the boxes behind them all the time, or like into the buckets or whatever. They'll push the person back into whatever was in the alley behind them. It's just distracting how dumb the guns were in that movie. Otherwise, I really like that movie, Minority Report. It's like iRobot. It's like a really well done view of like their future. And the cars were neat, how they went up and down the side of buildings, and they were kind of a weird shape where the car would drive down the road efficiently, but then come right off the road and park kind of like Blade Runner style, right? Or like Fifth Element, like right in your window of your apartment in a high rise, and then you just walk out of your car into your apartment. So the parking lot was the outside of the building.
Yeah, that was kind of cool, but yeah.
And they did it really well. The movie itself was kind of dumb, and I like science fiction, but that was sort of a really weak science fiction plot, so it wasn't that great a movie. But the
movie production was really good, though. Like, the production was good, but the story was weak.
So I guess that's our movie. Let's write that in there. Plus, I've watched that movie like 5 times, and I still don't really understand the concept of why they're calling it a Minority Report. So it just seems like a dumb movie as far as that the plot of it. What else we got? Oh, we forgot an important thing in gun history, Bob.
What?
Friday. I really like to hit gun history things before they happen and not yesterday's type of stuff. Well, number one, yesterday was 10/22, October 22nd, 10/22. So nobody did a 10/22 post. I only saw one guy, here in Tucson. I know his name. I just don't know what the hell he calls himself on the internet. I can't think of it. Anyway, he posted a 10/22 yesterday, but nobody else did. So shame on y'all. I know y'all are 10/22 fanatics, or you claim to be, yet you let the anniversary of your gun go by and you don't even acknowledge. But more importantly, yesterday, October 22nd, 1968, what happened?
68 gun bill came in, didn't it?
Yep, that's when Jerk passed the 1968 Gun Control Act. So that was October 22nd. Definitely not a day we ever want to forget. It was the second of the federal firearms legislations that infringed on our Second Amendment, our protected rights that the Second Amendment ensures that will not be infringed upon. So when we had a Second Amendment, whenever we created the Constitution, they said, hey, let's throw the second on there. Everybody was cool with that. 176 years later, they decided in 1934, as a result of Prohibition and the gangsters that were created by Prohibition, that now we need to define and regulate certain firearms. NRA was cool with that. Actually, everybody says that. The NRA is responsible, I'm told, for keeping handguns off the 1934 registry. We wouldn't have had handguns if it wasn't for them. But here nor there, we had the first of just a couple of federal firearms rules applied, infringed on us in 1934. And then again, 34 years later in 1968, the Gun Control Act, after a reaction to media hype and the assassinations of Kennedy and the others, and just the tensions of the Cold War. We were manipulated, and they infringed us again. They created Title I of federal firearms laws, the 1968 Gun Control Act, and it's confusing various pieces. And like I say, it became Title I. The NFA became Title II, and that's why we call NFA items Title IIs. So the 1968 is a massive infringement. It did things, I'll go over to Instagram here where I have a nice little summary of it. It did horrible things like give us the 10 questions on the 4473. It expanded license requirements to FFL dealers and required more detailed record keeping of them. Handgun sales over state lines were restricted to FFLs, and the list of the people that dealers, FFL license holders could sell to, the list of prohibited people grew. They also defined persons who were banned from possessing firearms. So the 4473 and the 10 questions. It outlawed the mail order sales of rifles and shotguns. Basically said, created that whole concept of the interstate. What is it? The interstate commerce somehow has something to do with firearms across state lines. It regulated firearms above 50 caliber as destructive devices. So prior to that, that wasn't a thing. You could have a 50 or bigger, which means cannons and all the cool ordnance, really. Required registration and owner's fingerprints. Let's see, it banned the sale of handguns to those over 21. So that's where if you're 18 right now and you're wishing you were 21 so that you could buy your own handguns from a dealer, then this is 1968 is what started that. Prior to 68, you could just go buy a handgun, I guess, whenever you wanted. It put the enforcement on the ATF, and it also barred the importation of assault weapons if they were not found to have a legitimate sporting purpose, which is one of my pet peeves. So yeah, that happened yesterday in 1968, and hopefully it's the kind of thing that once you start thinking about it, it gets you all pissed off and makes you want to get up and do something about it. And that thing you could do, oh, I'm not even screen sharing. I thought I was screen sharing. That thing you could do would be to go to the Second Amendment rally, right? So if we go over to Facebook, Matt's got this Second Amendment rally that he's been championing, Capitol Rally. So we'll click on that and we'll drop the link out there. Matt started it, but he's very much wanting it to be, well, he can't be in every state technically on the 5th. So he's hoping that this is something that people catch or take and rally behind and coordinate in their areas. So there's this thing on the Facebook. I don't know why he used Facebook instead of the Much Better Gun Channels. So you can go give him shit about that. And then hopefully he'll create a place over here on Gun Channels where we can get the message out to everybody. And it's already got lots of support, hundreds and hundreds of people, 600 something people are following it. Almost everybody liked it. So we'll hopefully see quite a few rallies get spurred up. I think we were talking about it on the early show. It's kind of tough when you do 2 shows in a row. But this is the goal here, is to get people aware again, to get people motivated and to create something that they can actually do. I think from the side of the Second Amendment advocate, that's important to get out there and meet some people, network, and just do something physically, out in the world. And then the other side of it, the political strategists that are working for the representatives and the political entities that are out there, they pay attention to things like this. And if they see nothing happen, then we seem like an easy target. If they see something like this happen and it's got some potential to it, that makes them think twice. Now, if this happens and we're all caught off guard and just everybody shows up at all these capitals, guess what? We're not going to see anti-gun legislation come up again for another decade until these people have forgotten how freaking motivated we are. Now, I think it's unrealistic to expect every Second Amendment advocate to get out there to their capitals on the 5th. But if enough of us do, then we're doing recon. We're going out there and we're figuring out where to set up tents, how many coolers we might need, where to send people for parking if there's, if we have to do it again and it gets to the next one's going to be a larger scale. We can figure out where we need to be and how to get people there efficiently, so that as these continue to happen, we become more and more familiar with it and able and capable. And again, the political strategists who watch us going out there and fumble the first time, they know that the second time you're not fumbling, and the third time you're familiar with it, and it's a common thing. And if we can get out there as often as some of the antis do, which is just getting, creating a consistent message out there, maybe we can influence some of the perceptions of what firearms are. If we can have civil, peaceful demonstrations, people will understand that gun owners are not the silent minority. We're a vocal. I don't even know if we're a minority anymore. Anyway, I think Matt's got a valiant effort there, and if you're interested, take the link there and share it. Again, it's one of us can get out there, two of us can get out there and make a difference, but all of us can share a link. You never know. You spread that link and 10 people see it, and one person can show up. Your link might be responsible for multiple people actually showing up.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like Facebook. Like, so many people nowadays are on Facebook, and even though some of us older folks are not really into it, but maybe you've got Facebook because you want to see pictures of your grandkids or something like that, but you're still on Facebook. So if you share that, it's going to get out there. And the more we get the word out, the more people we're going to get out there. And that's the bigger the hammer we have against these really, anti-people laws. These, they don't want us to be able to defend ourselves, which is crazy when you think the liberals are so worried about, these, the government right now having all this power. You'd think they'd want people to be able to defend themselves against it, but
no, they don't have a problem with. I'm going to speak for them, because I am. They aren't afraid of the government having power. In fact, they want the government to have ultimate power, but they also want to be in control of government. So they don't think about the future, and they don't think that there should be any choice. There should be government that's all powerful, and the government should agree with them, because they're looking at absolutes, and they're looking at the way things should be, not the way things have been, or practically, how to get to these places so much. They're
could be.
Theoretically. I've got a lot of comments coming in over on the gun channel or on the YouTube side, and let's see, on the gun channel side, nothing. So on the YouTube side, though, quite a bit. So I figured I'd address some of those. People talking about the 1022s a little bit after I 1022 shamed them. Jared saying in my buddy's gun club, if you don't double up, you will jump with 9mm. The range is too loud. I prefer it outside. So I think it means if you don't double up on hearing protection, put in the foamies and put on a set of earmuffs, then yeah, that echoing can be a lot. And depending on what kind of acoustics they have or don't, then yeah, that can make a big difference. And again, if there's nothing next to you, the sound can go away and somebody else is going to hear it or whatever, sure. But when there are those little dividers, I don't know what you call those, lane separators, especially a big AR-500, that most of that sound is coming right back at you. You're definitely going to want to double up there. Then Robert asks, on the 4473, why is race still on there? When was that added? Not only is race still on there, but race has been manipulated. So I forget when, 2 years ago, they changed the 4473 up again, and they made sure to include race and his ethnicity. So now there's not just both. There's not just Hispanic isn't just a race. So basically, you got to say if you're Hispanic or not, and then what race you are. So I believe they did all that because they want to be able to manipulate the data, and they can't say that guns are such a bad thing and racist when whites aren't the only one that have them, or white males aren't the only ones that have them. So if they count Hispanics as whites, then they get to say most guns are owned by whites. So then they can create the stereotype that whites are racist and racists have guns and all that crap. So I think that's what it is. But they're going to suggest that it has something to do with demographics. I don't know why the government would care what anybody's doing.
there'll be pronoun definitions. How do you what's your gender preference, or
Yeah, the gender they haven't fiddled with yet, but I'm assuming they'll eventually do that.
Because they're doing it with driver's licenses now. It's like you can be male, female, other, or you can put down pink unicorn if that's how you perceive yourself.
Yeah, I don't know why they have to have any of that, and I don't think I've ever had an actual answer that made me feel like, oh, okay, now I can see why the government would care. All I can see it being is a divisional thing, so that they can create angles to interpret data to mean whatever their agenda wants them to mean, or to.
Yeah, really, it shouldn't have anything to do with race, sex, sexual preference, anything. It should just be your name and your ID, and
Well, and I suspect that when you see a change like that on a federal form, it's not like the 4470 things are separate from the rest of government. There probably is a whole department. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a whole building somewhere full of employees that then tracks that new line on a 4473. Because if there's a new line on a 4473, that means there's a new line on some like license to move water, or some like license to burn bananas, or I don't know, whatever the hell else they license. You know what I mean? If they added a new line on one form, I suspect that means they created a whole new department of bureaucracy to track whatever the hell that line in the form is for. And we're probably paying for dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of people. And then all the janitors and support people, the air conditioning techs, and the people that shovel snow on the parking lots of those buildings. So, we're just paying an incredible amount of money for them to track something just so that they can create that infrastructure, if nothing else.
There's more government waste, but you guys now have a president who wants to get rid of that kind of waste. So we can hope, as long as it's put to them in the right way, is that this is a waste of taxpayers' money.
Definitely. And the more they add to it, the more they're digging their own position out on a limb, because the more they're going to spend effort on tabulating this stuff, now justify why any of that was necessary. And then now we can hopefully look at that in the future and go, look, this is the kind of waste that happens when you leave a government unchecked. So have small bureaucracy so you can actually keep track of what the bureaucracy is doing. And then if there's something that the bureaucracy can't handle, task somebody else to do it, and not the stupid bureaucracy. You don't necessarily need to bloat them every time a perceived issue comes along.
Yeah, they just make the bureaucracy bigger and bigger, and bureaucracies are self proliferating. Like
if left unchecked, yeah. Because my brother wants to work here too. Well, let's make a department for him. His lazy brother, or his lazy kid. Yeah. We can figure out a job for him.
Yeah.
So Robert's also saying, can a pistol identify as a pen? And that's what this should be on the back. It shouldn't be handgun, long gun, or other. It should be, what does your firearm identify as?
Yeah, wouldn't that be good?
Oh, snap.
Oh, shit, who left the door open?
This is what happens when you leave the link out there for anybody. So we were just about to wrap it up almost, really. But we're right about the 90-minute mark, so we still got a bit here without infringing.
Well, it's nice to see you too, I just want to say.
Is this the beginning of your lunch or the end of your lunch?
I'm actually end of my lunch, but it's because I'm out of town, so my schedule's all messed up.
Well, that's what I kind of figured. So I didn't just double checking. It's not like you were going to jump in and add something to one of the points or anything. You're just jumping in.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you guys have been talking about already, but if you've already all wrapped it up, then I'll just say hello and we're good to go.
Yeah, we were.
But if not, I have a movie of the day for today.
Well, we just did Minority Report, but it was a weak movie. So what's your movie of the day?
Okay, I have to admit, I only watched about from, I don't know, the middle to the end, maybe the first quarter to the end. So I missed the first part, but it's called Shoot 'Em Up. And I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of a pro-gun movie. Like, they get some stuff really right. And then some of it's so ridiculous that I feel like it's an anti-gun movie. So I don't know. Have you guys seen that?
I saw it once, and it's like, you know, when you go into somebody's house to eat and it smells like a fart, and you're like, damn it, like I don't know if I'm. It's an awkward situation to be in. I did not like the movie, so I never watched it again.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, one of the first things I saw was the guy like was doing some really good. Sorry, there's a loud truck here. The guy like really knew like a lot about guns and stuff, and it was like, oh, this is like a shoot 'em up movie or whatever. But then there was one scene. God, I did not like it. They're both shooting semi-autos, and the bad guy, you know, he's threatening someone. He like shoots a bottle and then like burns him with the barrel. And he's like, it's just going to keep getting hotter. He shoots a couple more times, burns him with the barrel. Then the good guy comes in. And he's like, well, I know that's a 6-shooter, so you're out. But the semi-auto is, you know, forward. It looks like it's ready to go. And the bad guy says, well, I know your 9mm out because you shot 2 times on the roof and once in the hallway and you killed those 3 guards and blah, blah, blah. But his also, it's in battery. So I'm like, okay, they don't know slides lock back. Like, just about the very next scene, they like zoom in on a gun with the slide lock back, like proving that it's empty. It's like, so, okay, so you guys do know that semi-auto is locked back, but in this scene, neither of the guns were locked back and they both were pointing empty guns at each other.
Yes, well,
that's really weird.
That's called continuity, and that's during production. They're supposed to, when they cut a scene, they're supposed to take like pictures so that they get the clothes all the same and the guns all the same and everything's the same.
Well, no, it's not the continuity thing.
Awareness to be consistent.
They ignore the fact that guns they slide lock for the scenes that they could both be pointing a gun that looked like it was, you know, ready to go, even though they both know each other are out, because it turns out they did both have empty guns. And I'm like, okay, I'll excuse them. They don't know slides lock back. But then the very next scene, they like zoom in and make it a point, like, oh, my slides lock back. That means I'm empty. So the director does know that slides lock back. Really weird.
But the director liked the look of 2 guns in battery when they're pointing at each other better than 2 guns with their slides locked back, because nobody would know what that was. They would think that the guns were broke or something, probably.
Yeah.
Or that maybe that's just pretty artistic.
I don't know. I kind of do want to see it from the start. Maybe I'm missing something, but it's basically, you know, it's a gun fu. It's very kind of ridiculous with the gunplay. And they got the whole thing. The good guy's like kind of like Roger Rabbit. Like he's always eating a carrot or something. That's a thing. I don't know what that came from.
Well, yeah, and then he uses the carrot to kill people with.
I think one saw, but yeah. Well, actually, he bumped fired on a carrot one time.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's because his fingers were all broken. Yeah, so he's using a carrot to shoot with.
But anyway, I don't know, like because I guess the plot was the dude's family got killed, so he didn't like guns, but he was the good guy using the gun to like save this other lady and this baby. So it's like, wait, do guns save people or are they evil? I'm a little confused. It's like an anti-hero or something. I don't know. It was weird. So I really wanted to get past because it's been bugging me that it's a weird movie that I don't know how to interpret.
I really felt the same way. I'll probably watch it again at some point just because it does come up in conversations like this occasionally. You've seen it though, Bob? You liked it?
I saw it. I was much like Smiggy. I mean, it was interesting. It had some good gun fu in it. It was exciting. It was one of those movies you can watch and it's like, oh, this is good, yeah. But then if you actually try analyze it or actually really pay attention to the story and everything, there's just a lot of holes in it. And like I say, there was continuity problems all over the movie, but you know, it was a good watch. I mean, it was exciting and everything, but it wasn't anything I wouldn't give it 2 solid thumbs up. I'd give it 1 thumb up.
I'm giving it 9.
Yeah, I think I'm giving it a thumb. I'm giving it that emoji that kind of goes, eh.
Yeah.
Like, I'm giving it that one.
Yeah, so that's our movie of the day. Or another one.
Unprecedented bonus movie of the day.
That's true. It's an unprecedented bonus movie of the day. Very good. Well, I think Have we done what's on gun channels tonight?
We have not. Is there even anything on tonight, though?
Well, it's Monday night. There must be something, isn't there?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's not like The Walking Dead came back last night, so Matt's gonna have a nerdgasm or anything.
Oh God,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Never Enough Ammo, Guns and Geeks tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. Locked and Loaded, probably. Hawaii Volcano Squad.
Yeah.
I know it's later because he's in Hawaii, so it's like super late East Coast.
Well, everybody in Hawaii kind of runs late. It's just kind of the lifestyle.
I don't know if you guys mentioned. I just want to shout out this whole like rally for the 2nd on November 5th. I've been seeing it around. I think it's getting some traction. I guess what they're calling for people to go to your state capitals and have a nice peaceful rally to be like, hey, Second Amendment's cool. So keep an eye out for that, or organize one for your own state or whatever.
Yeah,
Let's try and get everyone together. We don't need to divide the community anymore. Let's at least get together on one fight. We can argue about stupid little stuff, but
yes, yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, yeah, we've put the links up and everything, Smeggy, but that is a good point. That let's not get divided like what the left does. Let's we can have our disagreements, but the one thing we can all agree on is the Second Amendment is one of the most important basic rights that you have, and it's got to be defended, because without it, it's going to be impossible to defend the other rights. So on that, I think we're pretty much at the end. So unless you guys got anything else to go with. What?
But the show's over. What?
Oh my God! What if people left already?
Oh, left, and they're suckers, because now this is happening. This is happening right now. So here's the deal. It's a visual pop quiz. The first one, you guys are helping me watch both the sides over there.
I got them. Yeah.
I do not. So you're on your own from my point of view.
Okay, but Bob's got both sides. So the first one, to correctly identify the firearm that we might be or might not be looking at right now.
Okay, I got 42 and John Moses Browning.
Nope. Nothing on the YouTube side. Typical. What do we got over here? Back 10? No. 42? No. Oh, wait. John Moses Browning. Nope, nothing over there.
Nope. Nothing on YouTube except John Moses Browning. Yeah.
Nothing, huh?
Got shotgun, says a rank. Never mind. Smith Rubin rifle. No.
Smith Rubin rifle. You could not be farther from that.
Pen gun, says Angry. Oh, Midnight Range says Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. Interesting. So there's no sight on the Peacemaker, or does he think that's the sight on it?
Oh, hard to tell. Oh, it's getting a little more. You got shoulder there on the barrel. Still nothing. I don't know,
Is that even a barrel, Bob?
Is that a barrel? What if that's some kind of...
You're just assuming it is. Who knows what it is?
So you can see Maggie, you can see it? You can see the screen?
He must be able to.
Okay. So no more guesses. So I'll have to incremental out a little bit more. We'll have to enhance. Oh, come on.
Oh,
come on.
Schwartz and Lowe's model 1898. Colt Patterson.
I don't know what that is. Are you making up things? Enfield? What? Colt Patterson? Come on. This is so obvious already at this point. I'm embarrassed. Sten.
I actually know what it is right now. And that's sad because I'm normally bad at this.
Browning automatic rifle? They had a sight on them.
You guys aren't even trying. Come on.
I did see this answer.
Sten gun?
Gotta wait for a damn ad.
Sten pancake? Yeah. Sten gun, Uzi, says Angry. Angry's just throwing out everything. M3.
What was that other answer you said there, Bob?
Sten gun and Uzi from Angry. M3 from Raphael.
Dude, look at the size of the pegboard, people. Come on.
Gonna make bacon pancakes.
Oh, snap. I got it now.
Take the bacon and I'll put it
Palm
in.
gun.
This ain't
Palm gun from Midnight Range, he says.
all right. Finally, come on. I thought it would be a little easy with the barrel poking just the tip. I thought you guys would get it with just the tip, but once it got to here, I was embarrassed.
Yeah. So palm gun or squeeze cocker, are they called? Squeeze pistol? No, squeeze pistol.
Chicago gun. Let's just call it a Chicago pistol.
Yeah. So it looks like we got.
So we have a winner, and we will be poking you over to our, trying to talk at the same time here, our website, where we have a form you can fill out. Probably should fill out this form. And we will drop a link here. That was on the YouTube side or the Gun Channel side?
That was the YouTube side. Yeah. Midnight Range. DM.
Boom. There you go. So thanks for sticking around to the end of the show, everybody, and having some fun with the tactical quiz. We are taking all the funds we get over on the Patreon for the Daily Gun Show, using them for shipping. So, yeah, stay tuned for all the fabulous prizes that are going to be going out to people that have been winning over the last couple weeks here and into the future. And even as I start going around to gun shows.
Since Smeggy's here, I think we should let him do the cheer for Midnight Range.
Oh, thank you, Bob. Well, Midnight Range for Dancer, that makes you the tactical hot shot of the day.
There you go.
Yeah,
So,
well done,
Some
Smeggy.
people would say that's the prize right there. That's worth winning right there.
Yeah, and I'm not dropping off any Norenko ammo. No. I'm not even sure they let me take it across the border. Unless I change the boxes.
Today in history, we talked about yesterday being the anniversary of the the 1960 Gun Owners Protection Act.
Yep.
But today, in 1861, Lincoln suspends writ of habeas corpus in D.C. for all military-related cases. So a lot of people don't like Lincoln. A lot of people like him. A lot of people don't like Lincoln.
I like Lincoln.
Tyrant Lincoln. 1929, the first transcontinental air service begins, New York to Los Angeles. 1929. First time air was used to move stuff from New York to LA. So in our lifetimes. And do you think we'll have tubes? I guess that's another show.
I'll get this one out here for Midnight Range. Midnight Range, just because, you know, Smeggy did it, I'm going to do it too. That makes you the tactical hot shot of the day.
Now they feel like they won twice.
Yeah, now he feels like he won twice.
Johnny Carson born today. Michael Crichton, the Andromeda strain, Jurassic Park, born today.
Huh.
All right, nothing else interesting gun related though, so I think that wraps it up for today. We already talked about what's on the rest of gun channels tonight, and we'll see you back here. Jimmy should be back for early watch tomorrow. That starts at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. It runs all the way up till noon when we start this show at noon Eastern.
All right. Well, I think we're done now, so we'll do our quote. This one's by Richard Henry Lee. Now, before that, excuse me, I took a little out of my voice there. Before that, I just want to remind everybody, please like, share, subscribe, thumbs up if you haven't done it already. And if you can, support us on Patreon, because we're just trying to make the show better, and it's easier to do when we can have more money to do it with and can do more traveling and shit. So on that cheery note, Richard Henry Lee, a militia, when properly formed, are in fact the people themselves. So let's keep that in mind, and let's show them on the 5th that the people themselves care about the Second Amendment, and we are a voting bloc, and we have power. So thanks everybody for watching and listening. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.